Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and I help freelancers, consultants, and agencies land clients. If you're a freelancer, then LinkedIn is going to be one of your very best friends. My students and I use it on a daily basis to source and connect with our leads. But you want to make sure that when these leads go back to your profile to check it out, which many of them will, you are leaving a lasting positive impression on them. So what we're going to talk about today is building out a beautiful LinkedIn profile that's going to help you shine and stand out as a freelancer. If that sounds good, give this video a thumbs up and let's jump right in. We're going to start from the top of your profile and work our way down. So the first thing we're going to discuss is your LinkedIn banner image. This is really powerful real estate because A, it's one of the first things people see when they land on your page. It's very eye-catching and it takes up a lot of space. And B, it's above the fold, which means that people can see it without having to scroll down the page first. So essentially, it's very visible and it takes up a lot of space. Use this space to concisely convey who you help and how. For instance, if you look at my banner right now, you'll see that it says, helping agencies, freelancers, and consultants land clients and thrive. If you have any I can't talk today. If you have any sort of social proof or a testimonial, a short one, you can include that too. For instance, on mine, I've got some of the logos of the bigger publications my writing has been featured in, like Bustle and Elite Daily. Just don't cram too much text in there because you have to remember that especially on mobile, it's going to be harder for people to read text. So keep it brief and keep the text on the bigger side. I have a whole video that goes into more detail on how you can create a really nice banner image using Canva, which you can do for free. So I have linked to that video below. Your LinkedIn profile picture, that's the next thing below your banner image. Don't feel like you have to be wearing a suit for this and make it very corporate looking. Yes, you want it to be professional. You want to be, a little more covered up. No duck lips, no any weird gestures or facial expressions, but do feel free to have fun with it. Like right now, my profile picture has a purple background because I like the color. Do something unique to you. Don't feel like you have to stick to what is stereotypically professional because a lot of us that just feels so unnatural, myself included. You do not need a professional photographer for this. If you have access to one, if you can afford one and you want to do that, great, but you don't have to. What matters most is lighting, okay? So for instance, right now it's early morning, my office, I'm getting a decent amount of natural light. Go stand by a window or somewhere with good natural light, or you can even go outside. You just want to make sure that you avoid direct sunlight because it's too harsh, okay? So if you're gonna go outside, or even if you're standing by a window, it helps if the sun isn't directly shining on you. If it's earlier or later in the day when the sun isn't as powerful, or if it's slightly overcast outside, that's probably going to give you the best results. Prop your phone up, set up the timer, and take a selfie. You can keep this super simple. I've also got a video on this where I show you how you can take a very nice profile picture all by yourself using nothing but your smartphone, so I will drop that link below. Your headline, which is immediately below your profile picture, should state who you are, who you help, and how. You also want to make sure to get your keyword in there because you have to remember that LinkedIn is a search engine, so you can optimize your profile page to show up higher in search results. Your keyword might be freelance writer or fashion freelance writer. You can throw in your niche if you want. Freelance graphic designer, freelance social media manager, okay? You also want to call out who you help and how. I help fitness brands rank higher in Google, something like that. LinkedIn gives you a lot more space for this than you might realize. Use it up. I have a video that goes into your headline more specifically in more detail, so I'm dropping that link below. Moving down the page, you've got your summary or your about section. This is where you can go into a lot more detail around what you already shared in your headline. So think of it as an extension of your headline where you provide more information on who you are, who you help, and how. Fill up this space until you hit the character limit, which as of right now is 2,600. I also want you to think of secondary and LSI keywords. LSI is latent semantic indexing. Essentially what we're talking about here with secondary and LSI keywords, it's words that have to do with your primary keyword. Think of things like the skills you have, the services you offer, tools and software that you use. For example, let's say you're a freelance writer. Some additional keywords might be SEO, search engine optimization, keyword research, Google Analytics, WordPress, content creation. All of those words have to do with freelance writing. If you go to my profile right now, you will find many of these additional keywords. We're trying to tell LinkedIn how we want to be ranked so that it's going to make our profile more visible to our target audience. As you probably guessed, I have a whole video that will go into more detail about how to write a really great summary. That link is below. Experience, your job history. This is probably the section that I see the most freelancers skipping, and I get why. It's lower down on the page, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And because a lot of freelancers are kind of building their business and they're new to it, the previous experience that they have as a professional might have nothing to do with what they're offering as a freelancer. So let's talk about how you can do this. First, your current position should be your business as a freelancer. It should be the company that you are currently managing, okay? This is another opportunity to optimize that description with lots of keywords. This is the bare minimum of what you should have under your work experience, okay? Your current position as a freelancer and the owner of your company. Now, if you have past positions with previous employers that have to do with what you're offering as a freelancer, include those and optimize those descriptions. But what if your only professional experience prior to this has nothing to do with what you're currently offering as a freelancer? Let's say you're building a business as a freelance graphic designer and your only job before this was as a barista. That's okay. First, remember your most current listing that your leads are going to see first is as a freelancer, okay? So that's going to be the first listing they see under your experience. Now, beyond that, I will give you my personal opinion. I say, put that you were a barista. There's nothing to be, ashamed of or embarrassed of. And if somebody asks, which they probably won't, you can still use that past experience to your advantage. Did your last job teach you accountability, leadership, time management? Those are all transferable skills that will help any professional. If you're still not totally sure about how you feel about this, here's one more thing you can consider. If you are fresh out of college and you either have no professional experience or you do, but it's unrelated, I believe you can get away with leaving that off of your LinkedIn profile because you just graduated. So it wouldn't be outrageous for you to not have had a job yet. Okay, you were going to school. But for the rest of us, to have very, very large gaps where we weren't working anywhere, that can look funny. So let me give you an example. I'm in my 30s, right? I graduated from college back in 2009. So let's say that today, as a woman in her 30s, I was just starting to build my career as a freelance writer. And because my previous experiences were unrelated, I was like, I'm going to leave them off my profile. So that could mean then, theoretically, that I had a gap where I did not work at all from 2009 to 2022. That's what we want to avoid, because I don't want leads going back to my profile and seeing that I'm currently a freelancer, but they're like, is this her first time working? So you want them to know, yes, I have professional experience, okay? If you are still nervous about this, don't sweat it. This is not as big of a deal as you probably think it is. Be proud of your past. It made you into who you are today. Don't worry about it. All right, so those are the main pieces of your LinkedIn profile. There are more, but I would start here because this is the foundation. I've got a few more resources that I think you might find helpful, so just give me one more minute of your time. I have a guide to optimizing your LinkedIn profile if that's something that you need a little bit of help with. It is free. It will cover what we discussed in this video plus a little bit extra. That link is below. If you want something a lot more advanced and in-depth, then I have a 55-page guide to building a beautiful LinkedIn profile. Okay, so it's got step-by-step instructions for everything, plus tons of screenshots so you can see what everything looks like. That is not free because it's 55 pages. It's $35. If the price is an issue for you, scroll down because I left a coupon code for you. And lastly, if you are sick of the rat race, if you feel like you are stuck on the hamster wheel, then you might be interested in my program, Revenue Spark, the Client Accelerator, where I teach freelancers like you my start to finish process for landing clients. These are the exact steps that I still follow to this day, and they've helped me scale my business to almost $20,000 a month in revenue. That link is below. You can check out the curriculum, some testimonials, and if you'd like to know more, you can book a call to speak with me. Again, all of the resources, videos, etc. that I've mentioned in this video, the links are below. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, it's because you found my video helpful, and I would really appreciate a thumbs up, which helps support my channel. If you have any questions, just drop them in a comment, and I'll see you next time.